Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm back. I went away um, January 9th, and I was supposed to return home on the 16th, but there was quite an adventure trying to get back home, and I arrived home on the 17th. I actually got back to my trailer just after 5 in the morning. And I don't know if I'll have time in this video to tell you all about that, but oh, something just flew in here. I went to North Carolina. Yes. I didn't see Granny D, and I didn't see our Marianne, the crotchety clogger, or any of the others in our community that live in North Carolina. Maybe next time. I went to go visit a Spanish pastor friend of mine and his wife and family that I've known since 2000. At that time, they had back in 2000, back in my city, back in Massachusetts, they had only one son, and he was about 3.5 years old. And I actually used to babysit him because they lived in my city. They came to my city to start a church. His brother, the pastor's brother, is a pastor in Boston. And this pastor friend of mine and his wife were in that church and felt a call to come to my city and start a church. And so they lived in my city but had to go to work in the capital in Boston, and it was quite a drive. And so they would leave their boy with me, and I'd have him all day. And so we go way back. Their son, the oldest one that I used to babysit, is going to turn, I think, 26 this March. So, and I have not seen these friends of mine. We were trying to figure it out, and I think we decided that we hadn't seen each other for about 12 or 13 years. They've had 2 sons since, let's see, one is 18, and then the last one, is in the 11th grade. I'm not sure how old he is. And I had never met him. I had met the middle son, the one that's 18, when he was, I guess, a toddler. But it was so good to see them. And I was busy. I stayed with them. And so if you've never stayed in a pastor's home, let me tell you, it's a hub of activity, because a pastor's phone never stops ringing, and never stops texting. You know, people at church need to talk to the pastor, or the pastor needs to check on people, and just very busy. And I got to go to 2 of their church services. I landed there Tuesday, and Tuesday night they have prayer meeting, and there was such bad weather when I landed. There was tornado warnings and flash flooding and just downpouring. And in fact, when the plane landed, we had to stay on the plane. It was inching its way up to the gate, and then the lightning was so bad that they couldn't get the plane up to the gate. So the pastor ended up calling off prayer meeting that night and encouraged people to pray in their homes. And then their next service that they have is on Friday nights and then Sunday afternoon. So I was able to go to both of those, and I was asked to say something in both of those services, which I did. And what else? I got to see that pastor's mother, who I've known just as long as I've known this family. She now lives there down the street from the pastor. She's an older lady. She had 10 or 11 kids. And my friends, they are from El Salvador. So we had lots of food. We cooked. And I cooked for them. let's see. Monday I cooked Italian Parmesan in a big pot of arroz con gandules that his mother requested because back home in Massachusetts years ago I had cooked her some and she loved it. So I cooked that Monday, and then Sunday evening I cooked pork chops and pink habichuela, which are pink beans, in a sauce with some potatoes that I cut up and some spices. So we had that. I cooked those 2 meals for them. And let's see, Monday night we had a lot of people over. We had the pastor's family, we had his mother, 2 of his sisters, and a few people from church all came over to eat. And that was a very late night, being my last night there. After people left, we cleaned up and then visited. Yeah. Oh, but I landed in Charlotte, and my friends live in Winston-Salem. And so I have other friends that live in Matthews, which is next to Charlotte, and they were kind enough to meet me at the airport and pick me up. Now, how I know them is many years ago, when I was about 14 and a half is when I got in church and gave my life to God. And back then we had a teenage Sunday school class. And so the lady who was my Sunday school teacher way back then, the last quite a few years, her and her husband live in Matthews, North Carolina. And of course, all through these years, over 30 something years, we've kept in touch. And so her and her husband picked me up from the airport, and we went to her. She has 3 kids. Of course, they're all grown and married and have kids, but her second kid is a daughter that lives there in Matthews. And so we went to her house for lunch. She was in my Sunday school class when I was about 14 and a half or 15. She was about 12. And of course, she's married and has kids, but it was nice to have lunch with her and her mom and stepdad, and we reminisced from years ago, lots of memories. And then those friends drove me halfway to Winston-Salem, where my preacher friend met us, and I got to introduce him to them. And then he took me back to Winston-Salem to his family's, and that's where I stayed the rest of my time. And then when it was time to leave, we did the same thing, drove halfway, met them, and it was just something. And I'll tell you, if God had not made the way for me to go, I would not have been able to go. I was not really thinking about going. Like I say, I've kept in touch with all these people, and I had planned to go to North Carolina right before the pandemic. I was looking at tickets and deals and things like that. Then the pandemic came, and you couldn't go nowhere. After the pandemic, I've not had a chance to go anywhere for one reason or another. But I talked to this pastor friend of mine back in October or November. I called him for his birthday, and he was asking me, when am I gonna go? When am I going to go see his house, meet his youngest kid, see his mother, visit the church, all that? And I said, well, I really don't know. Let's just pray about it. I said, I'm trying to take care of my car, which is taking all my funds, but let's pray. And in December, somewhere around the beginning of December, they surprised me by sending me $100 electronically, and they said, we really want you to come. Use this money to put towards a ticket. Well, I was so thankful, but I thought, put towards a ticket? Well, I really don't have any extra money to put with this $100 for a ticket. As you all know, this car, and it still has an issue that I need to get fixed for inspection, which went out in November. Anyway, I thought, you know what? You know how I say, God is large and God is in charge. Well, I got to praying about it, and I said, God, I just believe that you can make a way where there's no way. If it's your will for me to go to North Carolina to visit these fine people, you can help me find a ticket, that's $100 with this love offering they sent. Well, I looked one day and trying to set up, who can take me, who can pick me up, all that. Then I looked the next day, then the next day, and then I found one. Can you believe this? Round trip from Dallas, Fort Worth Airport, over there to Charlotte, and from Charlotte back home. Round trip. I found a ticket. God helped me find one. $87 and I think 62 cents round trip, including taxes and fees. I bought it right away. And I let them know, and boy, were they happy. I mean, they were just so thrilled. Next, it was to figure out, how am I going to get from Wiley to Dallas Airport? I don't drive there. I'm not going to pay to leave my car down there. Uber prices, were just jumping up and down, and when I was looking at the Uber prices, they wanted to send me an Uber the next 20 minutes, and I thought, I don't need one till next month. So I did know since December 6th that I was going. As it got closer, God just worked it all out. God arranged for a ride. Someone that my landlord knows, it's kind of family to him, was willing to come pick me up and take me down to the airport. Didn't want any gas, just wanted me to treat him to breakfast. He came to get me at 2 o'clock in the morning. We did have breakfast, but I still gave some money for gas, and he was also the one that picked me up, and I think I'll have to get into that in another video, that adventure of getting home. But one thing after another, all the way, God just worked everything out. It was so nice to get away and have a little change and see my friends that I've known for so long, be in Spanish services, which I have just so missed, be able to have an opportunity to say some words to the church on both of those church nights, to encourage them, admonish them. Sunday, I led the church in a chorus, a Spanish chorus, with the pastor's oldest son that I used to take care of. He plays the keyboard and leads the singing, and we led the church in a chorus together, which blessed me, because to see him now as a grown man and helping out in the music, that's just something to be so thankful for. And since I've been home, well, when I got home that day, I did lay down a little bit, but then I had to get up and go get groceries, go get dog food, all that stuff. And finally, today, the trip hit me. I got up this morning and tended to the animals and did a couple other things, and then went to lay down, and I slept just about this whole day away. It finally all hit me. And tomorrow is church, and I'll be teaching Sunday school tomorrow. And one sad thing, while I was away, my biggest rooster, my handsome Raphael, went missing. He's not come back yet, and I don't know if something got him. I don't know, because I wasn't here. But all my other chickens are accounted for, and the goose, and Miss Kitty. Oh, she was so happy to see me. And of course, Sadie and Monster, a friend of mine, kept them. And then someone else that lives out on the land that I live on took care of my chickens. So I don't know what happened to Raphael. But as you know, anytime one of my chickens pass away, I get really sad, and I don't know what happened to him. Like I say, I don't know if something got him. He was my biggest rooster, and had all those nice colors. But so I am back, and I have popped into a few people's lives, and let's see, trying to catch up on some videos, but also trying to catch up on a lot of other things I have to do. I've got my laundry together. I did do laundry at my pastor friend's house the day before I left, so clothes I took with me, and I just took, I'll tell you, the airline I took was Spirit, and I have flown Spirit before, and you get to take on one free personal item, and it has to be certain measurements. You know, it has to be able to fit under the seat in front of you. So I had a backpack, and what I do is, that's all I take, is just my free personal item, and I wear layers of clothes to save room in my bag, and I don't bring any toiletries. I do bring toothpaste and toothbrush, but I leave like shampoo and stuff like that. I don't bring it because I can either use it where I'm going, or I can get to a store and buy some. I try to save as much room in my bag as I can. And that's what I did. Because I don't want to pay for a carry-on. I don't want to pay for a check-in bag. Just taking that backpack is enough. Oh, excuse me. So I'm home, and I'm glad to be able to call you up and tell you this much. I am very tired today. Like I say, it just hit me all of a sudden. Came home Wednesday, early morning, but today is really the only day that I have slept a whole lot. I guess my body's trying to reset itself. And I just wanted to call you up because I know some of you have seen me in the chat in some lives. And I did post a picture from the airplane in my community tab. Excuse me, if you want to see that. But I want to say thank you to all of you, too, for sticking with me while I was gone. I didn't make any videos while I was gone. So thank you for sticking with me. I hope you continue. And I'm going to get back home. And I hope you're all doing well. And I'll talk to you later.